hello. Welcome back to another episode of Table for Us, hosted by Podbean. This platform makes it easy for me to be able to share as well as monetize my podcast. So if you have ever thought about starting a podcast, be sure to check out the link below. Check out Podbean. Right now, they're offering 1 month free of service. So check them out. Now, before we get into today's episode, I first want to give an honor to God because without Him, nothing that I do would be possible. Okay? So today's topic that we're going to be talking about is body shaming in the Black culture. Now, I have a lot of mixed emotions about this, and this is just my own personal experience and feelings. So if you feel like you want to jump in on this conversation, please do comment below. Don't forget to save this and share it with someone else. All right, so when I was growing up, I have never been skinny, actually. I've always been slim thick, I guess is what you would call it. I cannot remember a time I remember one time when the smallest I was as an adult, I was in a size 12. And that was after my second child was born. And I had a job where we had an on-site gym. So we owned, I want to say 4 buildings on campus is what we called it. And on my lunch break, I literally would go to the gym for about 45 minutes, work out, hit the showers because we had showers there. And then I would spend maybe about 10-15 minutes eating my lunch, depending on how quick I was able to shower. And because I put in the hard work to work out, watch what I was eating, I was able to go from, I want to say I probably was a size 16 before I even got pregnant with her. So I was down to a 12. And I was probably the smallest that I can remember I ever was as an adult. So my weight has always pretty much fluctuated. Yo-yo effect, I guess is what they call it. The biggest that I've ever been, I believe I was in a size 20, maybe 22. I don't know. I was almost 300 pounds. And that was actually when I wore a size 20, I believe it was a size 20, was shortly after my grandmother passed. So I was a teenager actually. And when she had passed away, I went into this Great Depression and I would just sit in my room and just be snacking. I had every snack you can imagine, Twinkies, those oatmeal cookie pie things. What else was my thing? Oh, the yellow Hostess cupcakes. Those are my snack go-to. And then pretty much anything that was sweet. And when I got out of that depression, then I pretty much went down to that size 16 and just have consistently pretty much been between either 16 or 14. 12 was the smallest, but 16 or 14, right? So now I have 7 children, 5 of which I actually birthed. And my 4 oldest children are all 3 years apart. So my weight was just always like this, right? And then after my 4th oldest child, I had a long gap before I had another child. So there was no excuse whatsoever for my weight to stay where it was at. But I just got comfortable with where it was at. So let's add in the stuff that you're dealing with personally already, right? Your physical self that you see in the mirror, that you look down at, and your mental and emotional state, right? Now let's add in social media to that. So one of the things that I really do not like, I'm not going to say hate because my mom always told me that hate is such a strong word. But one of the things that I do not like is how a lot of women, especially nowadays, I don't remember it being that much of an issue back then. Like plastic surgery was always a thing, right? But it was more so on your facial features. Like someone might not have liked their nose. Maybe it was too wide or they had a hump or something right here and they wanted to, I believe it's called rhinoplasty, right? So they would go and get that fixed. Or someone didn't like their cheeks or something, so they would go and get like cheek fillers and things. So it was, plastic surgery was there, but it was more facial. So over the years, and I don't even know when this started. It definitely had to be in the 2000s because in the 90s, you saw nothing but natural bodies. So let's just say maybe 10, 15 years ago, and I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, is when the BBL era popped in. And I don't know what prompted women to start getting butt fillers, is how it started first, like injection fillers in their butt. So it went from your face to your butt. I know a lot of women that I've seen who have had work done on their body, they are in the industry, right? And it's because they are trying to portray a certain image or appeal to sell their music. So they felt pressured to get their body done. Somewhere it was like they might have been flat chested, so they got implants, right? Or when the whole fad happened with the whole BBL thing and they didn't have a butt, or it wasn't as big as they would want it to be, or whomever their manager is, they're like, okay, I'm gonna go get a BBL. Now, and I can't even say now, but what I'm noticing now is that there's so much hype on social media about your body and how it should look. And what I don't like is I open up my social media and honestly, I feel like it's a one size fit all. When you go and you get the BBL or the tummy tuck, the whatever you go and you get done, right? The mommy makeovers I think are really nice if you're taking out the fat, because what basically with the BBL nowadays, they're taking the fat from one place and they're transferring it to the butt. If I was to go and get liposuction, take it out and throw it away. I don't need you to put it nowhere else. Whatever butt I have is what it's going to be. Because what's happening now is a lot of women, I don't know the count, but a lot of women are passing away from getting elective surgeries. And majority of those who have, it's because of the BBLs. And it's a thing where you pretty much have to ask yourself, is it worth my life? Is this look? Is this copy and paste look? Because that's what I'm going to call it. Because when I see the people on social media, everybody's body looking the same. Well, I shouldn't say everybody. Majority of the women's bodies are looking the same. And what really drives me crazy is when they go and they get these BBLs. And I believe Cardi B had a song about it, even though she has a BBL, but she talks about how your thighs don't match the butt, right? And basically, if you have a natural butt, 9 times out of 10, it's going to fade into your thighs and you're going to have the natural looking thighs to hold that butt up. But what I see, when I was a little girl, I used to draw. Let me show y'all. I used to draw, kids, they used to draw stick figures. And most of the times when they would draw a stick figure, they would draw a woman. And this is how it would look, right? This is their head, flat stomach, and here's the butt, and here's her legs. It's literally what I see nowadays, right? Where it's like you have these stick figure legs holding up this gigantic butt. And these are the side views. And I ask myself, I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? And I'm knowing that you got your body done. You're looking in the mirror. Why would you do that to yourself? Because now you look weird. And for those who are saying, yeah, I want to get my butt done, I want to get this, I want to get that, knowing that the rate of women of color are literally passing away from complications either during their procedure or shortly after the procedure. You have to ask yourselves, is it worth my life to look like this, to have this copy and paste body? Or should I just go to the gym and work out? Now, there is a young lady, her name is Joy, Joie, I believe is how she spells it, Chavez. And let me tell you, her body is so banged. She works out. She has a routine and she has 3 children, and after every child, and she gained a lot of weight with her children, but after she hit that gym, actually while she was pregnant, I believe she was in that gym. So I feel like if there's a particular body type that you're trying to accomplish, or maybe not a body type, but maybe there's a problem area somewhere on your body and you want to work on that, it's so much more healthier to go to the gym. And in some cases, now let me talk from my own personal experience after I say this. Go to the gym, get you a personal trainer, somebody who actually knows the things that you should be doing in order to target that area that you don't like, okay? If you try to go on your own, because I know for myself, when I try to work out and go on my own, I'll do it for a little bit and then I'll stop. And then you have those people where it's okay, it's the beginning of the year, like pretty much January, right? And you have all these new gym memberships and they last till maybe mid to late February, and then you'll have some that'll last till March. And then after that, they fall off. And for me personally, when I was working out, I worked out every day. I didn't have, I rested on Saturday and Sunday, but I worked out Monday through Friday, and it would be for 45 minutes to an hour. And honestly, I didn't really have a real goal. It was just, I was tired of being big and looking at myself. Other times that I have worked out, it was because I had a trip coming up. Like I remember going hard on my elliptical when my cousins were getting married. My cousin was getting married, and now his wife is now my cousin. But they were getting married in the Virgin Islands, and I wanted to look nice on the beach because I wanted to wear a swimsuit. I wanted to get some beach pictures and stuff. So I went hard on my elliptical in order to lose some weight. Not a whole lot. I knew I wasn't going to lose a whole lot, but I at least wanted to be able to look good in my clothes. So I went hard on my elliptical. I had a waist trainer on. I did the whole, oh my God, let me tell you about the waist trainers. Now, some waist trainers out there are really good, whereas other ones, they are so uncomfortable. So my waist trainer that I had, I don't even remember who it was by, but it was supposed to be one of those Colombian type of waist trainers or whatever. So it was talking about lay back and try to snap it and all that stuff to get it to close. And it had the bars in it and so forth and the snaps, and it had did it have 3 rows? I think mine had 3 or 4 rows of snaps. So I had that on, was working out in that, or I would wear it all day. So I'm like this. Uncomfortable. It definitely helped me with my posture, I tell you that much. But I started to get, because after a while when you wear it so much and the wear and tear on it, those metal bars start to stick out. They start to come out through the seam. So I started to have, I guess you can say it started off as a cut, but then it like was a bruise or something. And then I'm like getting these black marks basically like on my side and my front of my stomach. So it was like, okay, this is helping me with, it definitely curbed my appetite because I felt like I was stuffed, which I literally was because everything's being compressed by this waist trainer. So I didn't eat as much because I wore the waist trainer literally every day, all day. And it helped me with my posture. But the side effect was being uncomfortable and then having those marks from the waist trainer. And back then, they didn't really have a whole lot of different options when it came to waist trainers. Now, and I want to say that was maybe about 14, 15 years ago. Now they have so many different companies that are coming out with more comfortable waist trainers, stomach control, fajas, all of those things basically are, more people are coming out with different versions that are more comfortable but also do what they're supposed to do. So I would strongly advise you to do your research on what works best for you. Yes, I worked out then. I don't remember what size I got down to, but when I looked in the mirror, I looked good. So my thing has always been who I see in the mirror, not what I see on social media. Whoever's on social media, that's not me. I don't want to look like that. I just want to look a better version of me and what I see in the mirror. Now, there are so many different reasons that someone will go and get their body done. Like I said, you have those that are in the industry. You have those who maybe at some point they used to wear bikinis and now they've had children, they've gotten older and they want to be able to get back into those bikinis. I have never worn a bikini in my life. I wore swimsuits, but I've never worn a bikini in my life. The first time that I wore a bikini was 2 or 3 years ago, when I went to Jamaica. I got me 2 bikinis and I was big as I don't know what, but I got to a point where mentally and emotionally, I was comfortable in my own skin. I wasn't worried about I needed to be a certain size to wear certain stuff. Now, they make things for larger women, so you want to be in your size, so you don't look like you got on this too small bikini, but you can still feel confident, feel sexy in your skin, just shop according to your body type. So once I got to that point, I wouldn't say I didn't care about being a certain size, but it was no longer my main focus. Okay. Now, fast forward to this year, right? I want to say it was probably like around January or February of this year. We're in 2025. And I went for my normal annual checkup. They did blood work and all that stuff. They check how your health and everything is doing. And my doctor told me that I was borderline type 2 diabetes. I think it was type 2. Yeah. Type 2 diabetes. And that I needed to lose weight. And then when she told me this, you guys, I was at 200 and I think 260. And honestly, it literally crept up on me to the point where like I saw the changes in my face, and I was so comfortable that I was working from home. So I would wear literally comfortable clothes. I wasn't wearing my work clothes anymore because I'm working from home. So I'm wearing like leggings or sweats or something, things that basically stretch. So in my clothes wise, I wasn't really paying attention to it. But in my face, I can definitely see that my face was a whole lot fuller, big. So when she told me that, I immediately was like, okay, gotta get my life together. And this, again, is not about me looking a certain way. It was about me being healthy and making sure that I take care of myself because I have a small child. I have 3 small children, 10, 9, and 6 now. And I told myself, I gotta get it together. I have to be here for them, right? So when she told me this, the crazy part about it, let me back up some. When she told me this, I actually had changed my eating habits as far as I did a Daniel's fast. And if you don't know what the Daniel's fast is, look it up. So I did a Daniel's fast for a month with my prayer circle. So with the Daniel's fast, and I'll tell you a little bit about it, but definitely look it up, and it was for biblical reasons. It's pretty much we're only consuming things that basically come from the earth. So plants, basically, that are organic, no seasoning salt. I think we use regular salt and pepper are the only seasonings basically, or like getting like actual garlic and things of that. So natural herbs, whole grains. So whole grain rice, whole grain bread, whole grain. So basically brown rice and then whole grain bread. So no preservatives, no adjectives or anything of that sort, just all the natural things, right? No meat. So we had no meat for those 30 days. And in addition to it changing me spiritually, I felt a lightness physically. And after we did the Daniel's fast for 30 days, I decided, you know what? I'm going to keep doing this because I like the spiritual changes and I like the physical changes. But honestly, I don't remember if I lost any weight. I feel like I lost maybe a few pounds, but it was just, I felt light after eating. So when I would eat like chicken, especially red meat, oh my God, it was so delicious, just delicious. But after, I would just feel so heavy, so uncomfortable. So when I stop eating, means like I'll eat and I don't feel heavy, like I'm sluggish and I can't move. I'm full, but I'm not weighed down. That makes sense. So I kept doing the Daniel's fast. But so this was 2 years ago, actually 2 years this month. So it was 2 years ago, but by December of that same year, I was speaking with a friend of mine at the time, and you were talking about nutrients, nutritions and so forth, right? And I wasn't getting enough protein. So I would eat beans, but what I was doing is I was eating more potatoes. I was eating more potatoes, y'all. And of course the bread. So the carbs and the starch and all that stuff, it breaks down basically to sugar. So That's how, and I don't remember how much I weighed when we started that, but about time 2 years later, here we are, I'm at a little over 260. And I was like, okay, it's because of the potatoes and stuff. So I got to stop with the potatoes. Basically, is what I told myself. I got to stop. Let me eat more veggies, less of the potatoes and the carbs. So when she told me that, I was like, okay, let's cut back on the potatoes, cut back on the bread. And I'm a bread person. On top of that, even though I was doing the Daniel's fast still as far as my food, my biggest thing is sweets. So I will eat candy all day if you let me, was pretty much what was going on. So my sugar levels was just out off the chart. So I changed that. I started walking more, which I really didn't have a choice because my catalytic converter in my car went out. So I had no choice but to walk my boys to school. And I started to focus on my weight. Now, again, I'm not worried about what people look like on social media. I'm literally looking at myself in the mirror. And now that my eyes are open and I'm like, dang, I really, look how big I am. So then what made it worse is I went and I tried on something that I hadn't worn in a while that I was able to wear before I gained all this weight, and I couldn't button it. I couldn't zip it. I said, oh my God, we got to do something about this. Anyway, I'm literally doing everything I can to drop some weight, and it wasn't happening. I must have lost maybe about 5 or 7 pounds. I'm getting frustrated because I was like, okay, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do at this point, right? So I'm getting frustrated with myself. And then I go on social media and I'm like, look at this heifer right here, looking all slim and thick and stuff and making it look so simple and all that. And then you have individuals in the comments and so forth. I know there was a lot of body shaming with Lizzo. She lost some weight, but she did it for herself because of health reasons. She wanted to be healthier. But then you have these other women who are BBWs, right? Is that how? I think I said that right. And people are in the comments horrible. Now, this might be somebody who's in the industry, they a celebrity or whatever the case may be, or they just might be somebody who's social media famous, right? But the people are in the comments just body shaming, and it's, yo, why are you judging this person? You don't know what things that they're going through mentally, emotionally, or whatever the case may be. And me personally, I feel like if you are healthy, and in most cases, people feel like you can't be healthy and be big, but I beg to differ. I feel like you can. You might be borderline unhealthy in some things, but I feel like you can be, right? So that bothers me. So you have the people who body shamed individuals into feeling like they needed to change something about their body, get something additional, whether it's boobs or boobs or a butt or whatever, implants. And then you have the ones where it's like, oh, you're too big, you need to lose some weight. Or you'll have the ones where it's like they've already gotten something done and now people are like, it don't look right. There's so many critics on social media. So my advice here is, if you're dealing with something and you don't like who in the mirror, you don't like who in the mirror, not somebody else, not a spouse, not a family member, not a friend, all in your ear, but you don't like who in the mirror, then definitely do whatever you need to do to change who in the mirror. However, make sure you're doing research. If it's surgery, research the surgeon, right? Research the clinic, research the procedure. Don't go off with somebody else's experiences, because everybody's experience is going to be different. So let's just say you got a group of friends and everybody talking about they're going to go and get a tummy tuck. Each one of you guys are different. I don't care if y'all look similar. Each one of y'all is different, like your fingerprints. Everybody different. So do the research and make sure this is something that is going to work for you. Get all your checkups and so forth from your primary care doctor to make sure that health-wise you'll be good doing this procedure. There was a lot of people who decided, before this really became popular in the States, you had all these people basically going to other countries like the Dominican Republic or Mexico getting procedures done. And why would you go to another country? Did you research that place? Are they safe? So do your research, do your homework, make sure whatever it is that you want to do, again, like I said, you're doing it for yourself. So let me back up some. So now here I am. The last time I weighed myself, I am at 228. Okay, so this year in February, I was at 262. I'm down to 228. And you might be asking yourself, how did you do that? Now, I see myself every day and I don't see a difference. That's literally like 30 pounds that I've lost and I don't see a difference. Now, I will tell you, those pants though that I could not put on, I got them up, but I couldn't zip them or button. Your girl was able to put them on, zip them and button them, and they was comfortable. So I've lost inches, right? And of course the scale has gone down, but I still, like, my face still feels so puffy versus my stomach has gone down some. I still walk, right? But what I did, because I needed some help because I was getting discouraged, is it's called semaglutide. Now, semaglutide is pretty much in the same family as GLP-1. If you've heard of GLP-1, it's basically being used as for people who have diabetes. And it helps basically manage your sugar, is what it's supposed to do. But then it also has these other side effects of where it basically makes you not hungry. So by balancing your sugar intake and all that stuff, you're also going to be less hungry. So you literally have to remind yourself to eat. So of course, if you're eating less, you're going to lose weight. And by eating less, your stomach is going to shrink. So that's pretty much what happened with me. I am no longer on the semaglutide. They were shots. They were injections that I gave myself once a week because my insurance didn't pay for it. So it was something I was literally paying for out of pocket. You do have options to do that. But if your insurance will cover it, especially if you're borderline diabetic, your insurance should cover it. Okay. Which would be an amazing thing. And you have to, but you can't just take the shot and just expect for weight to fall off. And that was what one of the nurses told me. So I was like, okay. So I continued to walk. I'm lying. I had slowed down on walking. So I brought my walking back. So you have to have some form of exercise. So if you can walk or do some type of an exercise, at least 30 minutes a day, or if you can't do every day, then do 3 or 4 times out of the week, right? And have your rest and stuff so you don't get yourself burnt out. But you have to have some type of exercise. And then you definitely have to change what it is you're eating. You can't expect for yourself to lose weight and you're still eating Burger King and McDonald's and all these fast food places or even processed food at home. You want to make sure that you're having your fruits, your veggies, and most importantly, that you are drinking water. Stay hydrated. I literally, and it's not even on my desk right now, I have a 40-ounce cup. I fill it up twice a day. So I kill it basically during the day and then I fill it up again later and drink the rest through the night. Yes, you're going to be running to the bathroom, but you want to stay hydrated. So the things you're putting in, that water is literally able to flush it out. The other thing is, if this is something you want to try, of course, make sure you're talking with your doctor about the side effects and everything. Is it going to be hot flashes? Am I going to be able to sleep? Is it going to do something to my skin? Or I know most people, they don't like to give themselves injections. So I believe they have a pill form. But again, check with your doctor because maybe you take the pill and it upsets your stomach. There are other things that you can do before you go the surgery route. So I strongly encourage you to do research, see what's going to work best for you, okay? And try not to let social media bother you. And people out there, if you're watching this and you somebody who done body shame somebody in person or on social media, don't do that. I'm actually guilty of that. Not on social media, but with my children. And I'm working on correcting that because I don't want them to have that childhood obesity and they grow up or somebody at school is talking about them. So I do it at home and I'd be like, you eating too much. You getting bigger. But I have to remember that, yes, I'm saying that as their mom because I care, but it can have a mental and emotional effect on them. Because I noticed my son, when I said that to him, he made his plate and he had 2 wings on there. And I was like, that's all you're eating? He's like, yeah, you told me I was starting to get fat. And I was like, I'm sorry. I had to apologize to him and everything. And I was like, I'm just worried about your health. That's it. But now he plays football, so he's exercising more, so he's burning that stuff off. And he's only 9. So I'm like, you're still growing. If you're hungry, I want you to eat. I don't want you to starve yourself. But you just want to make sure that it's healthy options that they're eating or yourself is eating. So I have an air fryer. I bake a lot of stuff. I don't fry things. I used to be air deep fryer queen. I don't even have my deep fryer anymore. So it's just the way you prepare your food, what you're eating, and making sure that you're really those green veggies. So broccoli and green beans is like a big thing in my house, and collard greens. Oh my God, I love them. But of course, I don't use the meat in it. With my collard greens, what I use is I literally, instead of cooking them in water, I'll cook them in chicken broth. So I'll just buy like the chicken broth liquid and I'll cook my greens in that for the flavor. And then I just add some onion and things like that. And they're still good without the meat being in there. So there's different recipes and ways that you can prepare your food where it still tastes good, right? And it's more healthier. So with all of that said, people, please be mindful of the body shaming when you're talking to people or when you're commenting on someone's post. And it doesn't even have to be necessary that someone got big. It could be that someone has gotten smaller, right? And they might have some health issues going on that you're not aware of. Or maybe they just changed their diet and they have a high metabolism and a lot of the weight dropped off, but you don't know what somebody is going through. So stop the body shaming, okay? Everybody don't need to have a copy and paste look, but if that's the look you're going for, just be safe and healthy about it, okay? Me personally, I would love to get a mommy me makeover. And I have 5 children. I would like to tighten some things up and feel less like how I feel as far as the extra little problem areas, whatever, but I'm scared. I had surgery and getting put to sleep is just not my thing. So my biggest thing was just making sure that I'm healthy and I'm no longer borderline diabetic. As of right now, the weight is going down and I'm doing better. I'm very happy for the kickstart that I had with the semaglutide because it definitely helped me. And what I've been doing is just staying the course as far as I just eat fish. As far as my meat, I eat veggies. I don't eat that much potatoes. Every now and then I'll allow myself to have some potatoes and I'll be like, all right, enough of the potatoes. I eat a lot of veggies. There's actually, I think it's called bird's eye. It's so delicious. And it's basically like little meals in a package and they're all made of veggies, right? Most of them. No, they're all veggies. So it may look like it's a pasta, but it's literally the pasta is made from lentil beans, from lentils. So it's very a healthy choice. So if you're somebody who's looking for some quick fix healthy stuff, I highly recommend Bird's Eye. Check it out. And they have different meals, right? They have Brussels sprouts. Oh, they have broccoli with rice and it has a little cheddar sauce. They have this pasta, I think it's a butter pasta and it has carrots, it has broccoli, it has, what else is in there? I think lima beans. I don't know. It's really good. And you can just throw them in the microwave real quick for 3 minutes and they're good to go. I just add a little salt, and a little pepper and I'd be good. They delicious, right? So if you want some quick fix stuff, check out the vegan aisle for some veggie options. And if you want to add some meat to it, I mean, you can if you're a meat person, but just make sure that you're consuming your veggies, right? And you're getting a good amount of veggies. Fruits are really good, but make sure you're getting an amount of your veggies and your water, okay? Veggies, water, fruit, and then, of course, your protein, whatever way you can get your protein. You don't get a lot of protein from fish, so I do drink, I think it's called Premier shakes. I think that's what it's called. Premier shakes is just basically a protein shake. There's 30 grams of protein in it. I get the vanilla flavor. It's the only flavor that I really like. So I usually drink one of those a day, especially if I'm out running around and I know I'm not going to have time to get something healthy. Oh, one of my other favorites that I really love. So sometimes I'll take my boys to to Burger King, and I will get the Impossible Whopper. So delicious. Don't knock it till you try it. It's actually really good. But I like that there's a lot of restaurants now that are doing more healthy options. I really love going to Habit. They're a little bit expensive, but I love getting the ahi tuna Caesar salad is what I get from them. But there's some really good, tasty, healthy options out there. Oh, another thing that I seen on TikTok, I'm going to leave this with y'all and then I'm done. This lady got a Chipotle bowl and she pan-seared her some salmon, right? And then she put that on top of the Chipotle bowl. And I was like, what? So, of course, I had to try it. It was so delicious. But I get the veggie bowl, of course. So mine just had the lettuce, the whole beans. What else is in it? The corn that they have there, some cheese, some sour cream. And I think that's it. That's all I had on mine. And then I put the salmon on top. So fire, y'all. So fire. And then my salmon, I pan-seared it. I put a little, what did I use for seasoning? I used some lemon pepper seasoning, squeezed a little bit of lemon juice on there. And then I took some soy sauce and some honey in a bowl, mixed it up, and then I drizzled that on the salmon. Oh, highly recommend. I think I might get one of those now. It's been a while since I've had one of those. It makes me so full. I never finish it. It usually takes me 2, maybe 3 days. And my daughter's like, how can you eat that once it's cold? Because, of course, it's got the lettuce in there, so you don't want to warm it up. But I don't know. I make it work. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Table for Us. I hope you guys have a blessed week. And once again, if you have ever thought about starting your own podcast, again, Podbean makes it so easy. It pushes my episodes out. I can monetize on their platform. I'm signed up for Apple Podcasts and Spotify, which is where I push my episodes out. So I upload it to Podbean, and it distributes it to where I need it to go. It can also distribute to YouTube for you. It has so many different platforms that it can distribute for you. So go ahead and click that link below, get that free month, and check it out. Hi, I'm Nicolette Royal, and I am the owner of Gem Royalty. So Gem Royalty is a service business, and what I provide is teeth whitening, tooth gems, permanent jewelry, and piercings. Yes. Now, the piercings that I can do your nose, I can do your ears, and belly button. That's it. I'm not doing anything else. My teeth whitening services, if you're somebody who just started out with and you've never had your teeth whitened, I normally recommend that you get an hour treatment, and then every month you get a 30-minute cleaning. So I got started in this last year, actually. Has it been a year? Yes, last year. I went to a conference in Atlanta called Invest Fest, and I had always would see, it was Janet Jackson. She was actually the first person that I saw, and she had a diamond on her tooth. And I was like, oh, I want one of those. I'm like, how much that costs or whatever. So I end up seeing a booth at Invest Fest, and they were doing tooth gems. And it's not a diamond. It's actually a Swarovski crystal that you get, and I believe they was using the same thing, but I use basically the same dental glue that the dentists use to put your braces on. So if you take care of it, it will stay on there for up to 6 months is what it will last you. So I do the tooth gems, the teeth whitening, and permanent jewelry. So the permanent jewelry was a service that I added shortly after I started Gem Royalty. So I have a bracelet on right now. This bracelet has been on for probably about 6 months, and it's called permanent jewelry because it doesn't have a clamp. So this does not come off. It stays on. The only way that I could take this off is if I cut it off, basically. So I do the permanent jewelry bracelets, permanent jewelry necklace. You can also do an anklet as well. I've seen some people do rings, but I stay away from those. I do sterling silver, gold filled, and what gold filled is, it's not gold plated. It's almost solid gold, but it's a percentage less than solid gold. So you have solid gold and you have gold filled. Gold plated normally just means that they've painted over something, but it's actually gold filled. So it'll last you a long time. And it's actually cheaper than getting solid gold. And depending on what it is you're getting, I charge by the inches, but you can find me on Instagram at Gem Royalty. Our services are in Las Vegas. So if you're in the Las Vegas area, you can book an appointment with us to either get a piercing, your teeth whiten, a tooth, or permanent jewelry. I'll put a link below for our booking site. Yeah. So I'm Nicole Royal, owner of Gem Royalty. And I hope if you're in the Las Vegas area that you will go ahead and check us out and book one of our services. All right. If you have a story you want to tell, get your story out there, okay? Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Table for Us and pulling up a seat to the table. Again, I'm Nicole, your host. I hope you guys have a blessed week.